interesting choices and just really, I think, learned a lot from him and found him to be very spiritual, really just had a great vibe.
In spite of their good experience on the set and the interesting material, the film tanked at the box office. It seemed to be following Nicholas's private emotions at the time. But it wasn't long before the dedicated actor found refuge in another meaningful and edgy independent film.
I'm about to embark on a picture with Spike Jones, a picture called Adaptation, which I think is still very much that oeuvre. So I'm trying to just keep changing it up.
In the independent film Adaptation, Nicholas played a tormented screenwriter facing writer's block and his Bond-to-Bond identical twin brother. Once again, he blew away the Academy. Nicolas Cage was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor in 2 leading roles. Nicholas's reaction to his Oscar nods continue to be practical and hopeful.
I hope that the Oscar will give me that 5 extra seconds of thought before someone says no.
With hardly a moment to catch his breath, Nicholas was back on the set playing a phobic con artist in Ridley Scott's Matchstick Men.
I've always wanted to work with Ridley Scott. I've admired his movies for a very long time, and I've felt that he has an original vision. It gave me an opportunity to hopefully learn something by studying or observing a maestro at work.
Next came the fun adventure romp National Treasure, in which Nicholas starred as Ben Gates' treasure hunter. The film was received with warm reviews.
Nick's personal life was also warming up. In February 2004, he reportedly met Korean Alice Kim at a club called Bazzi. The impulsive romantic was smitten with the lovely Alice and began frequenting the upmarket, upscale sushi bar where she worked as a waitress and hostess. Then one night he presented her with a diamond. 2 months after his divorce was final and less than 6 months after he'd begun dating Alice, the couple were married in July 2004 in a private ceremony in Northern California. While making The Weatherman in early 2005, again Nicholas drew on the method and went deeply into the painful divorces and separations he'd been through to play Dave Spritz, the hapless weatherman who had also separated from his wife in the film.
I was going through a divorce at the time, and I was using that well of feeling, that emotion, that wasn't positive. It was bringing me down, and I didn't want to succumb to it. So when I read this script, I thought, I can do this. Let me take that feeling and put it in there. I won't have to act, and it'll be real, and I'll do something constructive rather than destructive.
In fact, Nicholas was very constructive at the time. His wife, Alice Kim, became pregnant in early 2005 and gave birth to a baby boy on October 3rd. In an homage to his long-held love of comic books, Nicholas named his new son Kal-El, Superman's birth name on planet Krypton. The second-time father compares fame to fatherhood.
It's kind of like parenthood in that nobody can really prepare you for it. This is great, but then you realize the huge responsibility of that.
Nicolas Cage certainly appreciates all the opportunities his life as an actor has given him.
I've been very happy with the way things have turned out, and I can't complain. I mean, basically, the movie career has given me a lot of ability to do things I probably wouldn't have been able to do, so I'm happy.
Hi, everybody.
Sharon Stone, the beautiful blonde actress, is the one woman on Earth who can claim that she brought the world to its knees just by crossing her legs. This simple rearrangement of her lower limbs catapulted the unknown starlet into full-blown international superstardom. The year was 1992, the movie Basic Instinct. But the sultry actress already had lived a complex history before that decisive Hollywood moment. Born on March 10, 1958 in Medville, Pennsylvania, Sharon Stone grew up the second of 4 children. Her strict factory worker father and homemaker mother encouraged their shy, bright daughter to do well in her studies.
I think when I was a young girl, I was very much of, introverted and studying my school books and not a very physical kid.
Young Sharon found a remedy for her shyness by performing, and she invited friends and neighbours round to do little acts and plays for them, using her family's 2-car garage. When one door went down, the other door would go up, revealing an entire stage set designed by the aspiring actress. And as well as acting, the young Sharon had another passion: horses.
I'm a tomboy at heart.
The teenager found a great release galloping through the open countryside. She loved it, but her daring spirit left a permanent scar. One day, the horse she was riding cantered under a clothesline, tearing the skin at the front of her neck.
The traumatic accident did not interfere with Sharon's reign as queen of her high school spring festival or her early graduation in 1973. With a reported IQ of 154, the 15-year-old attended Edinburgh State University in Pennsylvania as a creative writing and fine arts major. Professors and friends recommended that the brainy bookworm pursue a career in law, but Sharon could not shake her love for movies.
I think if I filled out one of those, you are suited to personality things, it would probably lead me back to, actress. I think that's really, I am best suited to do that.
At 17, the young Sharon Stone quit her job as a counter checkout girl at McDonald's and decided to become a model. At 5'7½", she was beautiful. She went on to become a Ford model, soon appearing in print and TV commercials. In 1980, Sharon made her movie debut in the non-speaking role of Pretty Girl on the Train in Woody Allen's Stardust Memory. Now, even though, of course, it was a fantastic honour for her to be in a film made by the master director and filmmaker Woody Allen, she realised at that point that her glamorous looks were holding her back. It was a sort of double-edged sword. Even though she had considerable acting talent and beauty, she wasn't landing the major roles that she really wanted. The 22-year-old was turned down for Kathy Moriarty's part in Raging Bull, Glenn Close's part in Fatal Attraction, and Kim Basinger's part in Batman. She appeared in a string of B-movies, but nothing great. And by 1987, she'd already been married and divorced to 2 movie producers. She was becoming very realistic about her acting career.
I don't have the situation of starting at the top or even starting at the middle. I started at the bottom, I stayed there for a very long time, I went sort of to the middle and hung out, and then eventually I got a break.
And the break came in 1990 when Sharon was cast in Paul Verhoeven's Total Recall. The 32-year-old played the wife opposite action star Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not only did this new role launch the hard-working actress into a category of acting that was taken more seriously, the part also gave Stone the opportunity to learn as much as she could from her megastar leading man.
I think that with Total Recall that Arnold really taught me a lot about my physicality. And before that I had studied some martial arts and I'd exercised a little, but then I really had to get in shape for that movie. And then doing that movie with Arnold, who is certainly the finest action star that there is. I mean, there's this incredible finesse to him. I think it really taught me a lot about how to be in a movie in general, and I think that there's so much adrenaline when it's a physical thing, I just love it.
That same year, Sharon auditioned for a part in Dick Tracy, but sexy celebrity icon Madonna snagged the role. Sharon at this point was unwilling to slide down the slippery slope of second-rate parts and decided once again to put her extraordinary good looks to use. This time, she posed nude for Playboy.
Women who are going to be leading ladies, they have to be idealized versions of women. I think the pressures are enormous because you may think when you're growing up as a young girl that what you're valuing is your intelligence, your compassion, and yet then society is bouncing back at you. What's valuable is how you look, how sexy you are. And this provides a really difficult disconnect.
Not surprisingly, her calculated risk worked. After witnessing the accolades from her Playboy spread, Total Recall director Paul Verhoeven cast Sharon Stone in his new thriller, Basic Instinct. Playing the part of Catherine Tremmel, a sexy and psychotic mystery writer, Sharon Stone came to grips with her screen sexuality.
I think there'll always be a sexual issue, particularly with me, because I'm a leading lady. I'm not just the co-star to the guy. I'm the lead of the movie. So there'll always be a question of sex and sexuality as long as the story's about the girl.
Stone infused Basic Instinct with her own charismatic sensuality and her acting talent. This part really confirmed her position as a respected actress, and she won a Golden Globe nomination. She's been quoted as saying that when she went to the Cannes premiere of the film, she ascended the stairs as a nobody and descended the stairs as a star. The European reaction to the sizzling actress was sensational. They loved her.
There's like this frenzy that occurs, which is really strange. And I'm hiding, you know. I'm hiding in boutiques like, oh my God, how am I going to get back to my hotel? It's really strange.
Sudden fame hit Sharon hard.
Being a superstar has its ups and downs, but, you know, I'm growing into it. At first, it was like having, you know, a lion that hadn't been fed in 2 weeks in your living room. Ah! Ah! It was like, oh my God, you know, every day, until I really had made a decision that I had to live like an alcoholic, that it was too overwhelming to face as a big thing, and I had to deal with it one day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time, and just address it. Now, you know, it's like anything. You do it long enough, it becomes part of who you are. Ugly as it may be, it's now part of who I am.
A year later, in an effort not to get typecast as the sexy murderer in Basic Instinct, she took on the role as a soft-spoken victim in the murder mystery Sliver.
Well, with Sliver, I tried to take it to the heart of femininity. She's a book editor, a woman who's maybe closer to more regular woman, more normal woman, more fragile, more vulnerable, more available than the other characters. It was also written by Joe Esterhaus, who wrote Basic Instinct, and I felt going into it that we shared the same kind of, you know, scared, what are we going to do now feeling. Gave me a sense of camaraderie going into it, that I wasn't going alone. And it was scary to go work again after Basic Instinct became so successful.
Sharon's fears were realized. Sliver sputtered and died at the box office. The 34-year-old's next role was to play the cold and aloof wife opposite Richard Gere in the movie Intersection. Her attempt to distance herself from sexy temptress Catherine Tremmel backfired again. Coming up, Sharon finds love and a new beginning.
Sharon's always confessed to having a penchant for very powerful men, so it wasn't surprising she got engaged to Sliver producer William J. McDonald. Sharon's always confessed to having a penchant for very powerful men, so it wasn't surprising that in 1993 she got engaged to Sliver producer William J. McDonald. At that time, She decided that in her career she would take a 180-degree turn and do some action. She starred opposite Sylvester Stallone in The Specialist, then going on to make The Quick and the Dead, a western opposite Gene Hackman, which she loved because she could once again experience her passion for horses.
I got to ride every day, go out and blast around the prairie with my horse and rope with the cowboys in the barn and, you know, have a beer at the end of the day and wear my same dirty clothes and wear the same boots I wore the day before that are comfortable and broken in and, you know, just, I'm not really very apologetic for my personality, but even less so in this character, like, you know, this is what I think, take it or leave it.
Unfortunately, at the box office, the audience chose to leave it. The faltering actress was not picking the right roles.
Sometimes I think they pick you. Sometimes I think that there's a certain point that happened to me where I recognize what I do. That I have to be technically proficient, prepared, and ready to do my work. But then I have to try to be a conduit for a certain thing that comes through me. That any art does. It just sort of falls out of the sky through you. It's not yours to own and to have and to hold. And I find that every part that I do in some way hooks up with something I need to learn or grow or understand in life. I think they find me.
And then finally, in 1995, 3 years and 4 films after her colossal success in Basic Instinct, the right film found her. It was the dark mob drama Casino, directed by world-renowned filmmaker Martin Scorsese.
It was the attraction to work with Scorsese and to work with De Niro and Jimmy Woods and Joe Pesci. When you work with a group like that, there's no boundaries to how far you can go in your exploration of a character, because the quality of their work protects you. The integrity of their expression will always protect you, so you can really risk. It's wonderful.
No, the experience was quite good because she was very dedicated to do the role. And I know people say that all the time about the actress, but she really was. She was there every second.
Even though old back injuries weared up because she had to wear a 45-pound white and gold beaded dress, the 37-year-old was thrilled with the part, and it led to her first Golden Globe and Oscar nomination.
But there was someone still more important who acknowledged Sharon's formidable acting ability.
I think I showed something, not just to others, but really to myself with Casino. I think I proved to myself my value as an actor. And I grew into having the confidence of playing characters that did not rely on that. I felt and I believe that I have the capacity to play a myriad of different types of women. And I'm not trying to prove it. So now it's easier. It's freeing in a very, very interesting way. Not that I feel as though I wouldn't also now be able to play a highly charged sexual character, but I'm certain that even in that event, it would be a different thing for me now.
Even though her dazzling success in Casino was followed by 2 more clunkers in 1996, Diabolique and Last Dance, Sharon kept her chin up. The 38-year-old waxed philosophical.
They're all successes for me. The ones that failed, I had to learn to either overcome the failure or move through the kind of part I played or understand why I did it so much later. I didn't know until last week that the prison movie I did was based on the woman that's to be executed tomorrow. I found out last week. I think they protected me from that information. And last night I watched her interview on television with Larry King, and I'd walked in those shoes, you know? And that movie didn't make any money. That may have been my greatest success.
In the meantime, Sharon Stone's personal life was fodder for the gossip columnists.
I used to have to push the publicity machine to sell the movie, to create my image, it just goes on its own now. It's like it feeds on itself now. It's like it doesn't need me to make it go anymore. And it's kind of fun to watch. I mean, you know, it creates this character of and in itself. It's kind of like, well, what's she up to now? And I read that I do all these things and see all these people and sleep with all these people and do all this stuff. It's kind of like, wow, ooh, she's really exciting. And today, you know, it's so weird.
It's very tempting to think that women who are powerful in our culture are particularly attracted to other powerful men. But I think it's important to put that into context and to say, what kind of man would not be intimidated by a woman who is beautiful, has power, and has enormous earning capabilities?
Her engagement to William MacDonald lasted only a year, but still attracted to powerful Hollywood men, Sharon went on to date Barry Josephson, head of production at Columbia Pictures. That didn't last either. In 1997, the actress finally met her match on the set of the film The Sphere in San Francisco. She started to date the editor of the San Francisco Examiner, Phil Bronstein. The two hit it off immediately, partly because Bronstein offered Sharon a real respite from the Hollywood grind. Her career was going well too. She won another Golden Globe nomination for her role in The Mighty. And then on Valentine's Day 1998, they finally got married. But married life took a bit of adjustment for the movie star.
I was at an event after the Jean Moreau event, a party, and you know, people were coming up to me, and fans were coming up to me and autographing and the pictures and everything. And this woman came up to me, Miss Stone, Miss Stone, Miss Stone, I have to tell you something. I went, yes, you know, I'm waiting to hear it. And she goes, your husband is so handsome. So yeah, he's stealing my thunder. He loved it too, I have to say.
A change of scenery was just what the actress needed.
I love living there. You know, it's a true life. It's a life where people are don't care that much that I'm an actor. You know, they're interested in other things. Everything isn't about movies. They're people having real lives, doing different things. It's interesting. I mean, not that I don't love movies. I'm obsessed with movies. But I need to be in a place where everybody else isn't obsessed with movies.
Sharon traded her obsession with movies for something more important.
I think during the period when I wanted to have a baby, I didn't feel responsible about anything except trying to have a family, and I sort of flaked out on my career.
After trying to have a baby of their own naturally and not succeeding, the couple reportedly decided against fertility treatment and instead went for adoption. Rowan Joseph Bronstein was born on the 22nd of May 2000, and Sharon chose the Celtic name which means seal for her baby's name.
Well, I think for a person who's been really dedicated to her career, then to find marriage and motherhood brings another level of fulfillment that enables her to really put into perspective how important her career is to her.
Up next, Sharon faces a life-altering moment that changes the star forever.
Sharon complained of a severe headache and was diagnosed with a small aneurysm in the brain. Sharon complained of a severe headache and was diagnosed with a small aneurysm in the brain. She talked about a feeling of leaving her body and seeing her friends and close family members within a white vortex of light. When she came to, she made some big changes. She decided to give up smoking and alcohol, and that was just the beginning.
Having a near-death experience can be like having 10 years of therapy all in one afternoon. I think there are two ways of responding to facing one's own mortality. We could just become immersed in it and miserable, or we can dance with it. And we can realize that there's more to life, and we can get something out of every moment. and really live life to the fullest and bring back a sense of what is divine and bring back our sense and our commitment to the community and find a new purpose.
After her near-death experience, the actress became an activist. She lent her powerful influence to the tsunami relief effort. She led the Amphar benefit at the Cannes Film Festival, raising over $3 million for AIDS research, and she was honored as Humanitarian of the Year from the Harvard Foundation and also won a Human Rights Campaign Award for her role as the lover of Ellen DeGeneres in the TV movie If These Walls Could Talk.
I do work for the Cancer Institute. I do worldwide work to raise money for AIDS and for pediatric AIDS research. I think we're getting somewhere. I really think that progress is being made. We're really turning a lot of the attention to the vaccine. So it's exciting. The stuff is really happening. People are doing better. People I knew very well who were at the end edge of their life are now working, doing great, healthy.
After some well-deserved time off to focus on health and motherhood, the actress made a comeback in the horror thriller Cold Creek Manor.
Well, it was time to come back. I wanted to come back with a studio picture. I thought it was good to do a film where I played a mom since I am a mom.
Like most Sharon Stone films, Cold Creek Manor required that the sexy blonde share her bed with a co-star.
I was genuinely scared. You get in bed with a 7-foot boa constrictor and see how you feel.
The movie was well received, but Sharon stepped into another disaster soon afterwards as Halle Berry's nemesis in Catwoman.
But as usual, Sharon made the most of it.
Well, I think it's a story that talks about empowering women and how women can be and how women can change. What women can learn from making mistakes with their lives.
Living up to her own words, it turned out that Sharon had made a mistake in her choice of third husband, Bill Bronstein. They were divorced on the 29th of January 2004. In fact, 2004 was to find Sharon involved in 2 more legal battles. Now, the actress has always prided herself on the fact that she's a natural beauty and has never had to resort to artificial means to maintain her youthful appearance. So, she sued a plastic surgeon from Beverly Hills who implied that he'd given her a facelift. Yet another lawsuit ensued when Sharon Stone sued the producers of the sequel to Basic Instinct because she said that she had made room in her busy schedule to make the film, turning down other lucrative offers. Well, they said that she turned out to be far too expensive with all her demands for luxury accommodation, then that they couldn't afford her anymore. Well, the film now is going ahead with Sharon Stone. Interestingly, some years back when she was first approached to take this role, she wasn't inclined to do it.
I turned it down. I felt that it was wonderful when it was made, that I had as big of a success as I could possibly have with it. I personally don't believe that it's the time now for that subject. I think that time is past. It may come again, everything does seem to circle around, and by the time it does, I hope to have a cameo.
Worldwide movie audiences and Sharon Stone fans will be thrilled to learn that she is going to reprise her role as the sexy bisexual femme fatale, although we don't know yet who her co-star will be.
Well, you never go back the same, is the thing. It's become very important to me to play each character looking to find and understand love in some way, because I want to have personal growth from what I do. And I feel if I make choices that are negative, then I'll have negative growth. So I try to address them in that way.
One of the actress's recent positive decisions was to become a mother again. On May the 11th, 2005, she became the mother of Laird Von Stone. She named the baby after her beloved acting coach and used her own middle name.
With 2 small children, a serious commitment to charity, and a schedule full of movies in various states of production, Sharon Stone keeps her focus simple.
My only master plan is to try to do things I haven't done before and to try to be a better actor with each movie that I do. That's my master plan. And my plan is to try to listen.
listen to the world, listen to what's coming to me, listen to what's asked of me.